Welcome to Momentum's virtual training series, where we invite expert facilitators to share their knowledge on topics that advance women in leadership.
Welcome, but my name is Courtney McArthur. I'm the founder and the owner of CMC Career Consultants. We are a career coaching and resume writing business. I am also the co-founder of the Influential Leaders Alliance. We are an online learning development community that I started with my business partner, Dr. Rhonda Anderson, and we do a lot of accountability calls. And then I am also the talent acquisition specialist at IDM Work. So I have a full-time 8 to 5 as well while I'm running both of these. And so I am living and breathing this every single day. This is something that I am very passionate about, teaching others how I was able to kind of just be very productive and manage my time better. And so I am super excited to get into this today. We're going to talk about thriving in your 8 to 5 while crafting your legacy. So whether that is you volunteering more or starting your own side business or joining a nonprofit, whatever it may be, we're going to talk about how you can do that in different ways. Quick show of hands in the room. Would love to see in the chat. Please pop off in the chat. Who here has ever said, I just don't have any time? And then you binged a show, you scrolled on social media, as remembered the laundry, you reorganized the junk drawer that's been sitting there for 3 months. Please let me know. This is a double hand for me. This was how I lived my life a couple of months ago. It is something that I think we all can relate to, and something that is just kind of now, part of normal life, right? Like we have these distractions. And so how do we go about beating this? And so now that I know, I see a lot of chats going off. I see a lot of people. It's not just me. And so what do we need to do to fix this? And so that's what this presentation is going to be on, is how do we redirect? How do we focus, and how do we get in line with what we really want? So this is something that I just want to make sure that everybody starts this presentation with. I have to put on my HR hat here just for a second. Before we start talking about how do I start this business, what's the right way to do this? I know that I have a couple of my clients in here right now watching the presentation, and they will tell you that this is the very first thing that I go over when you start working with me. If you have an 8 to 5, this is just a PSA. Just make sure that you work with integrity. This is a hot take, but my opinion is that if you are working on side stuff during your 8 to 5 and you're not making that time up, it's stealing from the company, right? And so I think that a lot of people have given side business, it's kind of a bad rap, especially on the corporate side of things. I know I myself, I was kind of forced into starting my own business. I was laid off from my job. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And so I started CMC. And so for the last year, I was looking for the right job, the right corporate job. And I was also, working on scaling this business. And so I know that's not going to be everyone's story. Not everyone is going to start out of a necessity. Sometimes this is a want. But I do think that the right thing to do is that if you're going to, work on a side business, just make sure you're making up the time. Work in the mornings, work at night, take PTO, just be honest with your boss. It takes a lot of pressure off of you in the long run. And it also just kind of gives you the freedom to be able to also manage your day. And so, just an example of this, I'm a very transparent person. I'm a transparent coach. I like to use myself as an example a lot. I am doing this right here. I am with Momentum right now on my lunch break. My boss does know I'm here. Dana, I don't know if you ended up joining, but hi if you did. And if I go over, because we're talking and we're asking questions and we're having a good time, she knows that I'm going to make my time up later in the day. And something that someone told me when I first started my business, that really changed my opinion of this and why it's so important, is that it's kind of a do unto others, right? So do you want someone, when you scale this business or when you're volunteering full time and you hire someone to help you, are you going to want them to be working on their side business while they're supposed to be working for you? Right. And so that's the way I kind of view it. And so your reputation is just so important. And it's something that you'll never be able to get back. Like you have to start it now. So this is my PSA. I always have to start with this. And so we're going to get into the rest of the presentation now. But I always like to just kind of make sure that we all start with it from an honest place. Right. So
Thank you for doing that, Courtney. That shows in teaching integrity. You would think that, yeah. Anyway, thank you.
oh,
That is very awesome that you would say that up front. And it's very, it's not needed in the way that people don't know that, but how you have done it with just such a disarming and so a very honest conversation. That's great. I have one question though. For
yeah.
women who are afraid that it may cost them their first job, that is their paying job, how do you suggest that they do approach that topic? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Absolutely. So the first place that I would go would be to look to see if your company has any policies on it. So I can tell you my corporate job does have a policy on it. And so the only thing that you have to do is you have to tell your supervisor. So it was the first thing I did. So I would come through your handbook. That's where I would start just to see if there's anything on it, if there's steps that HR have already said that you need to take. It's an easy way for you just to say, okay, that's where I need to start. I need to have a conversation with my boss. Some policies will say that you also have to talk to HR. All it really is just letting them be aware that you're doing this so that it's not a surprise. The second thing is, I know it's really nerve wracking to have that conversation and it can definitely risk your job, but it's going to risk your job regardless if you start that job and then they find out about it on the back end. It's going to completely wreck the trust that you have built with the company and with your boss. So, as hard as it may be, I would go in with a business plan to make sure that they know I am not going to be doing this during my working hours. I'm going to be doing this on the side. And this is how I plan to balance both of them. And so I genuinely think that, some people might not be, and I'm going to cover this, you might not be at a place where you can risk even going to your boss and saying that. But if you were at the place where you were about to jump off that diving board and start something on the side, if they find out and you have not had that conversation with them, it is going to be so much worse than if you just go ahead and do it.
Thank you. Thanks for covering that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and so I'm so glad actually Darla asked this because this kind of goes into my next couple of slides of just, I know that when coaches come on and they train, a lot of it is very conceptual, right? Like it's a lot of just kind of like woo woo out there. This is what you can do to help, and how are your feelings? And I always like to leave my presentations with something tangible that you guys can actually take home and apply. But I will say, when it comes to this, because I believe everything is so intertwined, your personal life, your work life, if you start a side business, all of that is time that you have to spend during the day. And so it's all so connected. And so I want to start just with kind of some let's get honest with ourselves and let's make sure this is the right step for me. And then later in the presentation, I'm going to give a lot of actual technical steps that you can take, some apps that have helped me. I have a free giveaway today, so I actually have a template that you guys can download. So I will start getting a little bit more into those technical things, but first let's kind of start about the very first step for me before I started my business was the idea of what this was going to be. Who am I? The imposter syndrome. And I think in this age of social media, people just make it look so easy online. And I am just here to tell you this is not going to be easy. It doesn't matter if you're volunteering, it does not matter if you're starting a side business, if you're joining a nonprofit, if you're just volunteering at your church. When you work full time and you are doing something on the side, it is really hard. And I know that you see these creators, on the social media and on TV, and they just make it look so effort and polished. I promise you, myself included, behind every single one of those posts is incredibly messy work. It's late nights, it's early mornings, it's a lot of mistakes, it's a lot of discipline that you have to have, it's a lot of disappointments and you having to pick yourself up off the floor, and it's a lot of compromises and trade-offs. So I do just want to be honest in the fact that my personal journey, I know my business partner's journey, this path has not been glamorous. This is a lot of grit. And you just have to, know that you are not alone in this. And I think I wish somebody had told me that when I first started, because you just see so many people and it just seems like it's so easy and effortless for them, but you are not alone in this. And this is something that is going to be a huge commitment. So, speaking of commitment, and this is something that I have asked a lot of my clients to do. It's something that I feel like is so important for you to understand what is my next step. And that is, what do you really want right now? I need all of you to reflect on this phase of your life and to determine what matters the most. Is it your career growth? Is it your legacy building? Is it peace, flexibility, extra income, just more free time in general? Because where you want to be in 5 years, you have to start taking those steps right now. And I know that's something you hear a lot of coaches say, but one thing that I don't think you hear a lot of coaches say is that there's not a wrong answer here at all. This is your life and you're never going to get back this time again. I know some people out there, you're like, Courtney, I'm ready to throw this chapter away. I'm ready to start something new. I have all the free time in the world. Like, let's go. I'm ready. And then there's going to be others of you who you want to hold your babies a little bit longer. You have that time with your kids that's really important. And there's no wrong answer here. It is absolutely never too late to start, but it is too late to go back in time. So I don't want any of you waking up in a couple of years and regretting absolutely anything. So I think just really reflecting on this phase of your life and knowing, am I going to be able to make compromises without regretting it, is really important. And it's key for your success. And I do think I'm very passionate about making sure that everyone, not just women, know that it's never too late. So if you need a few couple of years extra with your kids so that you can just spend all the time in the world with those babies, that is okay. And it is also okay if you want to compromise and squeeze some time in so that you can go ahead and start this as well. So now that I have kind of the fluffy and the stuff out there like that, the feel good feelings that a lot of coaches start with, let's go ahead and start talking about what's the first thing I'm going to tell you to do as a coach, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do as a mentor, right? And that is to set goals with intention. A fun fact about me is I'm actually a Scrum Master. And so I love implementing project management into my day to day, whether that's my personal life, whether that is my side job, whether that's my 8 to 5. I love to incorporate the project management skills and the tools into it. So now OKR is not the same thing as Scrum, but it's what I use in my personal life and for my business. So you want to define OKRs each and every single quarter. And so what are OKRs? OKRs are objectives and key results. You can kind of view objectives as like the overarching goal. That's the big goal. So what do you want as, the number one, the biggest thing? The key results are going to be the things that you achieve in order to get that big result. So it basically is tangible goals that track your progress and then hold you accountable along the way. John Doerr is the one actually who introduced OKRs into Google. And he said that it is all because of OKRs that Google grew from 40 to 60,000 employees, because it helped them focus and stay aligned. And so basically what it does is it breaks the big dreams into tangible, chewable steps. And then you can track your progress without a ton of the burnout, which is something you will face, especially if you're working your 8 to 5 and building your side business. It also allows you to celebrate wins each and every single quarter, which for me, it fuels my motivation. It keeps me on top of things. And I actually use this in my personal life as well. So my boyfriend and I actually go on quarterly OKR dates. So we do this for our fitness goals, our health goals, wellness, like our financial goals, our business goals, anything and everything that I can break down so that I can be the better version of myself, I use OKRs for. And so I know I said this a second ago, I am a very transparent coach. I feel like just being honest with people helps kind of build that trust and show that these steps have actually worked for me. It's something I use in my real life to be the most productive. So this is actually one of my OKRs right now. We actually went over this on our last OKR date. And so our objective, so our big overarching goal is to be debt free so that we can buy a house one day. So how do we do that? We have to have a key result, a little goal. So that is create a budget and stick to it. And then I want to pay off all my credit card debt within 3 months so that I can have the income and start saving to buy a house. So does that make sense? You want to kind of break it down. You have a big goal and then you have a bite-sized goal to hit. Now, these do have dates on there. And so this is one that I need to hit within the next month. And I will tell y'all, having goals written down that are intentional, I would have bought at least 20 more iced coffees this month if it hadn't been for this goal. It is something that helps me stay reminded of why I'm working so hard and why I'm so disciplined. And so once you get your OKRs down, once you have those goals that you are intentional about, I want you to create a prayer board. I call it a prayer board. You can call it a vision board, whatever you want to call it. Visualization increases the likelihood of achievement by up to 42%. And I know this is something that a lot of coaches talk about. And again, this is one of those things that I think Courtney a couple years ago would have been like, "Ooh, that's real out there." I like data, I like science to back up things. And so the 42% really stood out to me because I just couldn't believe that that was an actual data point that somebody could have higher achievement because of that. Keep your goals where you can see them. This exact prayer board that I am sharing with you guys on this screen is hanging up behind my computer. I can see it as I'm talking to you. So use Pinterest, use Canva. You can either cut them out from magazines, physical board, whatever works for you. And then the visualization, this is the coolest part. It activates the exact same neural networks that the physical action does. So it essentially tricks your brain into believing that the goal is already real. So it leads you to actions that are more aligned with that goal. And so, like I told you before, I'm very, very transparent. I am putting it all out there. So, this is my actual prayer board. This is what I started the year off with. And so, I wanted to lose 20 pounds and be in the absolute best shape of my life. I wanted to land my dream corporate job. I want to be completely out of debt. As you can see, my OKR matches that. I want to see growth in our learning development community in TILA and go global. I want to have enough savings built up to where I can get a car. And then I want to start writing my book. And so these are things I'm normal. I'm just like you guys. I'm an everyday person with an 8 to 5 who has dreams. And I will tell y'all, last year I did not have this. I did not have a prayer board. I did not go through any of these steps. Ask me how many of my goals I hit last year. None. Not one of them, because I quit after a couple months, right? Just like everybody else. But I am really proud to say, and I try to use myself as an example so that you can see that these things actually work. I have landed my dream corporate job this year. I love my job. I love my boss. I love everyone that I work with. I don't have Sunday scaries. I love logging in on Monday. I have not lost the full 20 pounds yet, but we are well on our way. So I have started that. I will be completely out of debt within a month. So I have been working really hard to hit this one. And then I was able to do a training with Tila a couple of weeks ago with Africa Ohana. And so our community did go global. We were able to hit that. And so once I go debt free, I will be able to start saving for that car. And the only thing I have not hit this year is I have not started writing my book. I haven't had a ton of time, but I don't know about you guys, but I would have to say that 5 of the 6 is pretty good. And it has kept me chasing after those dreams and knowing that it's something that I can actually do and seeing it. And it is the background of my phone. Being able to just live and breathe your goals it's a game changer. And now I definitely understand how that achievement, that 42% exists. And I'm proof of that. So once you have your goals written down, you have that intentionality behind it, you get your prayer board, your visualization board going, find an accountability partner. I'm going to say it again. Find an accountability partner. This has been the biggest game changer for me. Having an accountability partner, this is actual data, increases your success rate by up to 95%. And people are 65% more likely to meet a goal after they commit it to another person. I'll tell you guys some of my theories, and these were actually backed up by Harvard Business Review. When you're on a call and you have several other people on there for an accountability call, and everyone else hit their goals and hit the little goals along the way, and you're the only one that hasn't, it does not feel great. And when you commit to another person that you are going to do something, there's this kind of pressure that you don't want to disappoint that person. If they're taking their time out of their life to have an accountability call with you, you feel almost this obligation. It's kind of like having, a boss or like, someone like a coach. You just don't want to disappoint them. And so you are going to push yourself to hit whatever it is that you guys talked about. And then, of course, there's the external validation, like the Harvard Business Review said, and the social expectations. There's all types of psychology behind it. And so this has been something that has really stretched me and helped me hit goals that I didn't think were possible. You can share these goals on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. You can have as many accountability partners as you want. I have 3. You can set check-in points, and then this helps you all celebrate the small wins as well. You can do this over the phone, you can do this in a community, or you can even go get coffee with your accountability partner. It's however you want to set it up. And so, if you all don't know how to find an accountability partner, I've had a lot of my clients be like, Courtney, I don't have anyone in my life who would push me like that. There are all types of groups out there. I am sure Momentum has some resources. TILA, my group, we offer group accountability calls every single month with our members. There are so many different places where you can find those. At the very baseline, if you don't have the budget to go out and get a coach or to get a group, there is a friend of yours who, if you tell them to be tough with you and be harsh with you, I am sure they would be willing to do a call with you and hold you accountable. So just don't skip this part. Don't let you thinking that there's not an accountability partner out there or a place for you to hold you back. There really is. Feel free to connect with me after this call as well on LinkedIn if it's something that you need help finding or you need help, figuring out what that next step is. So once we have our goals written down, we have the visualization board hung up all around us on the background. We've got our partner to hold us accountable. The next thing that I want you all to do is audit how you actually spend your time. This is going to be key for you being high performing and being able to squeeze all of this into a single day. I used to say, oh, I don't have any time. After I work out, after work, I eat dinner and then like I have no other time. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be able to hold down this business and do all of this at the same time. And then I downloaded a screen time app. And I am embarrassed to say I was able to find an additional 2 hours of my day because I was either doom scrolling or staying up late. I had distractions all around me. I was binge watching shows. I had very poor time management, and it was eating every single ounce of my free time when I could have been working to achieve my dreams and my goals. A couple of ways that I did this was I used the Be Present app. It's an app you can actually download. It is free. It will kick you off any of the apps that you were on. So Instagram, any of them, it will kick you off. There's others like Stay Focused that will help your screen time, and Opal as well. It just kind of helps you reclaim those hours. I think I just didn't want to be honest with myself, or maybe it's because you just kind of go into a zone when you're sitting there scrolling on Instagram. And when it actually gave me the report of how much I was utilizing it, I was horrified. And then after I was horrified, I had to be honest with myself and say, okay, that's okay. Now we can change it. We can work towards changing this. And so this is a huge tip that I tell a lot of people because you do have a lot more time in the day than you actually think. You just kind of have to know, where am I going from here and how am I going to use that time? Okay, so after you audit the time that you're using for, yourself, and you're like, okay, I got this, I have more time, I can do this. A big thing for me is journaling. So I'm a pen to paper kind of girl. I know a lot of people are not, but if you are a journal person, so just so you guys know, again, I'm super transparent. I like to use myself as an example. I have a prayer journal, I have a work journal, a to-do list journal. I have a to-do list every single day of my life. I like Xing it out. I have a personal growth journal. I have my CMC business and TILA journal as well. So, the International Coaching Federation, which is where a lot of coaches will go and get certified, they actually did a study showing that professionals that use journaling are 25% more productive and they feel 33% more in control of their time and their goals. I back this data. I do feel like it really helps me as well. And then the Journal of Experimental Psychology also said that expressive writing for just 15 to 20 minutes a day can help you reduce stress. It can help you stay more focused. And it just kind of helps you process those overwhelming emotions because no matter what you guys are going to do, whether it is I'm going to go volunteer more, or I'm going to join a nonprofit, or, I'm going to start a side business. All of those things are very, very emotionally draining. If you're starting your own business, you're going to get a lot of
Wendy, how are
no's.
you?
I'm well. How are you?
You are going
I'm doing
to,
great. I'm doing
have to
great. Does
pick
this time
yourself.
still work for us to do that little overcall?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, just to confirm, the account is at Fidelity, correct?
Okay, Darla, can you
Correct.
hear me?
Okay. So, as I mentioned yesterday,
Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep going. I hope you guys can hear me. I think I got muted just for a second. But so these things will help you just kind of reduce your stress and improve your focus. One of the big things for me is having separate notebooks. It just helps me to kind of wear different hats. The recruiter Courtney is a lot different than the career coach Courtney. And so it helps me just kind of pick up where I left off. If I were to use the same journal for work and also my career coaching, there's a good chance I would have to flip 50 pages back to get back to Melissa, who I was training last night, versus the, 30 calls that I had today, recruiting and screening people, right? And so it just kind of helps me stay in the zone and remember where I was and pick up where I left off. Now, you don't have to use a journal. You can do this digitally, absolutely. It's just for me, like I said, I'm more of a pen to paper kind of person. I just really like I almost like the ritual of all of it. I like being able to pick out a cute journal, and I like being able to just kind of not be distracted by typing on my computer or typing on my phone when I'm interacting with people. It's just something that I've kind of noticed helps me, but the journaling does help. It helps your memory, it helps your motivation, and it just kind of helps you stay emotionally stable, especially just when you have so much going on. There's a lot going on all the time, no matter where you are in life or what phase of life that you're in. So I am finally going to be out of kind of the conceptual stuff. I'm going to start telling all of you about some of the technology that I have implemented that has helped me be very high performing. So, one thing for life, I know a lot of us have fitness goals. We want to stay on top, we want to be healthy. This was something that was eating up my free time. It used to take me hours to go grocery shopping, to cook dinner, to clean, all of it. I was having such a hard time managing this. And so, one of the things that I have implemented is I use a walking pad while I work. That way, if for some reason I get a last minute client or something happens at work and I have an emergency, I know that I've already had my steps done for the day. I don't have to stress out about getting to the gym, or if I need to skip a day, it's already done. I use meal prep as a huge way for me to save time because I'm not cooking dinner every single night. If I do have to cook that day, then I'm using crock pot. I use my rice cooker all the time. Anything that I can do for it to be working for me so that I am not sitting there having to waste my time and have my time eaten up. Same with grocery pickup. I used to waste so much time going every single week to the grocery store. Now I just place it on my phone. I show up and I pick it up. Time blocking is an amazing tool. I use it in every single aspect of my life. I use it in my personal life. I use it at work. I use it for CMC. I use it for TILA. It helps me stay on track with what I'm doing. It helps me remember that, okay, you've got an hour to answer emails and then you've got to pivot. You've got to move to something else. So, time blocking is huge. It also has helped me by starting a cleaning calendar. And I know these things sound like, why is she telling us this? What's going on? This has opened my time up so much. I looked at Jordan this weekend and we just were like, wow, we have gotten so efficient things that used to take us all day on a Saturday, like a house reset. Well, now Monday, I'm doing the laundry. Tuesday, I'm cleaning the bathrooms. Wednesday, I'm doing my sheets. Thursday, I'm meal prepping, et cetera, et cetera. It has helped me so much doing a little bit throughout versus having to wait until the weekend to do literally everything. And now my clients are opened up for Saturdays and Sundays as well. Automation is a huge tool for me. Anything that I can do to have it work for me while I'm doing something else, I am going to utilize. So scheduling emails. Before I would not, answer emails at 9 o'clock at night. I'd be like, oh, it's too late. I don't want to bother them. I will work from my bed at 9 o'clock at night answering all of my client emails, and I will schedule them to go out at 8 o'clock the next day. I schedule text messages. I have the birthday reminder app. I don't know about for you guys, but I have so much in my personal life that I try to remember, and sometimes I just forget. So the birthday app gives me a reminder 3 days before it happens, gives me a reminder the day of. That is why I'm sure Rhonda and Darla will both laugh at this. I don't ever forget a birthday. I'm very intentional with that. And I schedule text messages to go out. So if I need to follow up with a client, it could be 11 o'clock on a Saturday and I, remember to check in on them or whatever it is. I'm going to schedule it to go out Monday morning at 8 o'clock. I'm going to schedule that birthday text to go out in 3 days because I have time right then to do it. I schedule my social media content. So something that is going to be big for you guys if you start a side business is you got to put yourself out there. You got to get business. You have to be visible, right? And that is a super big fear of mine. I do not like attention. I do not like talking. And I know that's ironic considering I'm talking to you guys right now, but it's something that my coach has really had to push me on. So I film content on the weekend and then I schedule it to go out every single day that week. Now, you might not be doing that much content. I am having to right now, but it's something that you have to keep in mind. You can schedule so many things so that you are not eating up your 8 to 5. I also use a link for my clients. So instead of me having to go back and forth with them on free times and then forgetting to follow up with them and then you lose that client, use a Calendly link. Use some sort of a link so that they can schedule with you on your calendar. Some tools that I love to use. Gamma. I am on Gamma right now. This is what I'm presenting to you all on. What Gamma does, it's basically an AI presentation app, basically. And so you do have to pay for it. So just a heads up there. But it has changed the game for me. So when I think about things that I want to train on and I want to talk on, I have just a running list of notes on my phone. I build out the content all on my own. This is all from me. I design it, and I'm doing this weekly with our learning development community. So it is something that I have to be on all the time, right? And so what Gamma does is you basically take your notes and how you want it laid out, and it will actually turn it into a presentation for you. So everything that you guys are looking at now, maybe I've tweaked a little bit. This is all my content, but it did it for me. So I have to have it to work for me, right? Asana project management tools, those are great. They do cost some. Google Calendar, I have every single calendar that I use, my work calendar, my personal calendar, every single calendar is merged so that I know, oh, I have a doctor's appointment then, I can't book that client then. I can see what I have to do every single day of my life. Again, iOS scheduled text messages have been huge for me. QuickBooks, Wave, and FreshBooks, if you are going to be a little bit more advanced than I am just with expenses and invoices, they do have free options available, which are great. I do all mine through my website. So I use Squarespace. It's fairly minimal in cost. And also, you can do all of your invoicing and your taxes can be done through there as well. So it was just a one-stop shop for me. It was easier for me to utilize. Um, any type of, Google Sheets and formulas, these things are going to be helpful for, single entrepreneurs like myself, right? I don't have a team. It's all me or any type of, solo creators. These can be great for simple budgets, content trackers. I have to keep up with all the content that I'm pushing out. I have to keep up with everything that I'm training on as well. And then also for any type of small project dashboard. So for instance, I had to build out my website. That was something that I actually tracked to see how long it took me, the cost of it, what it was going to cost me yearly. Everything like that are things that you're going to have to account for and build into your day-to-day process if you're going to own a business and then also have a 9 to 5. So these are just some of the tools that I have used to make life easier for me, to make me more high functioning, to help me not waste so much time, and it has genuinely been just a game changer for me. Some of these are, again, I told you guys, I like to give you tangible things that you can actually chew on and take home and utilize in your personal life. Some book recommendations that I have that I highly, highly, highly recommend. The Influential Leader Blueprint by Dr. Rhonda Anderson. It is amazing. What it does is it will actually teach you how to have a growth mindset and unlock your leadership potential. It's been a fantastic book for me to realize that I can stretch and I have so much more to offer. Measure What Matters by John Doerr. This is who I was telling you. This is the OKR guide. This is the OKR blueprint. So it goes through the power of OKRs, how to implement them. It goes into a little more detail with them. Atomic Habits was amazing. This is how I started auditing. How do I perform? How do I use my time? It's by James Clear. It will go through and just kind of tell you how to make smaller changes so that you can transform your habits and be very high performing on a daily basis. And then Believe Bigger by Marshawn Evans Daniel. This was a Bible study that I actually did. So I will just kind of give this caveat. The top 3 books are more business focused. Believe Bigger, I'm not 100% positive. I think it's a Christian book, but I'm not sure about that. But she basically talks about how to reclaim your life after unexpected circumstances happen, and basically how to just awaken something greater from within yourself. But again, just a quick caveat for that. I think that might be officially a Christian book. The top 3 are going to be more business books. But these 4 are really where I started to go, okay, how do I change myself from somebody who scrolls on social media for 2 hours at night, embarrassingly enough, without even knowing that I do it, to somebody who is balancing 2 side businesses, an 8 to 5, crushing the goals at your 8 to 5, hitting your workout goals, hitting your financial goals. If you start with these, it will really take an audit into your life and help you have a blueprint on what do I do next and how do I start this. The last thing that I'm going to leave you guys with before I share the gift that I have for you, and take some questions, is you cannot pour from an empty cup. I had to learn this the hard way. I don't know if my boss is on the phone, but I know Dr. Rhonda will verify this as well, and so will Darla. Um, I took way too long to get to the doctor recently. I was having migraines, and I should not have put it off. This is something that you will deal with when I know I'm looking at you out there, moms. I'm looking at you out there, empaths. I'm looking at anybody who already has a side business. It is so hard to balance everything and then also remind yourself to put yourself first. But you will break yourself down while trying to be this high functioning and not taking care of yourself. So make sure you're going to therapy. Make sure you're making the doctor's appointments. Get a nap in, get a massage, go outside and get some fresh air. Eat ice cream by yourself in your car for just 5 minutes of silence. I don't care what it takes. Just make sure that you are resetting yourself, because if you start this, this is not something that you want to burn out on, because this is a marathon. You owning your own business, this is your legacy. You starting a nonprofit, or you volunteering your time, you are giving yourself a piece of yourself to other people. And if there's nothing left to give, then it's going to fail. So just remember to pace yourself, take care of yourself, and your wellness does genuinely matter. So that's kind of my last preachy thing that I have for you guys. I do have a free gift for everybody. So I am sharing my quarterly OKR template that I use. I have it broken down into 3 different segments. So my personal life and career. This is super easy to use. This is literally what I use as well. This is what Jordan and I take when we do our OKR dates. And so I want you all to have it. I told you I wanted you to take something home that's tangible that you can actually use. It's going to be in the link next. So this is my link tree. Please feel free to scan it. Would love for you guys to follow me on socials. I do have a TikTok and an Instagram. I haven't posted on YouTube yet, but I will. I'll start doing some of my trainings on there. On TikTok and Instagram, I give a tip of the day. Right now, it's a job search tip of the day. I'll do different topics and train on different topics as we go. You can also book a session with me. So my website is on here. So feel free to reach out if you want any type of coaching session or career development session. I would love for you guys to add me on LinkedIn. That's on here as well. I'm super active on LinkedIn. I obviously am a recruiter, so nonstop I am on LinkedIn day in and day out. I would love for you to share your biggest takeaway with me. And then please feel free to download the free gift. I would love for you all to use this OKR template. Please give me feedback on my socials. Tell me if it's working for you. I would love for you to share your successes with me. And so that is it for me.
Momentum's virtual trainings are made possible with the support of Protective Life, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama, and America's Thrift. Find the full list of sponsors as well as additional resources for women leaders on our website at momentumleaders.org. Thanks for taking the time to invest in you, and remember to like, subscribe, and share our channel. We love reading thoughts and comments, so you can leave those for us here too. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn by searching at Momentum